Welcome to part 3 of fractions, where we're going to learn about multiplication and division. Now, multiplication and division is very easy to learn because it follows a little bit of what you already know, and there's nothing special to do about it. The assumptions for this lesson are that you already know the types of fractions that exist. You know how to convert mixed number fraction to an improper fraction, and vice versa. You know how to multiply integers, and you know what numbers belong to the set of integers. You know what it means to write inverse of a value. The general form of a multiplication question is a over b by c over d, where your a, b, c, d represent your integers, and your a, c numerators, b, d are the denominators. Set steps to follow for multiplication are as follows. You make sure that the fraction is either proper or an improper fraction. You multiply the a value by the c value, and you use this as a result of the numerator. And you multiply the b and the d values and use this as a result for the denominator. Reduce the fraction if necessary and write the answer as a proper fraction or mixed number fraction. The general solution should look something like this. And if you notice, all you really did is you take a multiplied by c and you just simply get ac. You take the b multiplied by d and you get bd. And notice that your answer here, all you have to do after that is simply reduce it and your answer is done. Now let's look at a couple of examples. Example 1, two proper fractions where you take 1/3 and 2/3 and you simply multiply them together. Notice that all you have to do is simply multiply a 1 by a 1 to give you a value of 1. And then you multiply a 2 by a 3 to give you a value of 6. This fraction doesn't really need any reducing because you see in here that 1 and 6 have no common factors. Notice how simple it is. I simply multiply the top values and put that as the top answer, and multiply the bottom values and put that as the bottom answer. Keeping this in mind, I can do two improper fractions in the same format. Just take the top, multiply by the top, and just give the answer for the top. And then I take the bottom, multiply by the bottom, and I put that answer there for the bottom. Notice that all I have to do now is just simply write that improper fraction as a mixed number fraction, and 35 on 12 gives you 2 remainder 11 on 12. If you do two mixed number fractions, you just simply have to convert them to the improper fraction form. Notice that 2 1/2 is equal to 5 on 2, and 1 1/3 is equal to 4 on 3. And then I simply have to say 5 multiplied by 4 to give me 20, and then I take my 2 multiplied by 3 to give me 6. And I have there a value of 3 and 2 on 6 when I am writing my fraction. But when I say the 2 on 6, I notice that I have a 2 in common as the factors, which means I can reduce it. And I divide this 2 by 2 to give me 1, and I divide this 6 by 2 to give me 3. That is how I get my 3 and 1/3. I do not need to write this as a mixed number fraction first before I actually reduce it. I can reduce it before I do that. Notice if I take the 20 on 3 and 20 on 6 and I divide that by 2, I will get 20 divided by 2 as 10 and 6 divided by 2 as 3. And then I will end up with 10 on 3, which is equivalent to 3 and 1/3. If we want to do something like division now, division looks something like this, where the same thing, a, b, c, d are integers, these a, c are numerators, b, d are denominators. We follow the following steps. Now the steps are exactly the same except for one part, which is this step 2 here. Write the first fraction as it is, change the division operator to a multiplication operator, and invert the fraction that was after the division operator. And you would see that multiplying a by d value will give you the result of the numerator, multiplying by b by c value will give you the result of the denominator, and you simply reduce the fraction. Let's look at this general solution, and notice here your a, b here is already written back as the same thing here. Notice that your multiplication is now a division, your division is now a multiplication, and notice now that your c value is the denominator of your your inverted fraction, and your d value here is your numerator of your inverted fraction here. And you will get here simply a by d over b by c, and you simply reduce right after that, write it as a proper or a mixed number fraction. And an example would be same question as before, except now we have a division. We have the 2 1/2 being rewritten as 5 on 2. We have our division sign staying the same right now, and we have here our 1 and 1/3 being written as 4 on 3. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to rewrite it so that I can solve this division operation. To solve this division operation, all I have to do is take my 5 on 2, put it as it is. Then I simply take my division sign and write it as a multiplication sign. Then I take my 4 and put it as the denominator of my new fraction. And then I take my 3 and write it as the numerator of my next fraction. So now I have 5 by 3, which will give me 15, and then I have 2 by 4, which will give me 8. The answer turns out to be 1 and 7 on 8 when I write it as a mixed number fraction. These are very simple to do. If you have any questions or comments for me, you can either leave your message with the video, or you can message me at carib.tutor@gmail.com, or you can ask your course teacher for any help on the topic that I just discussed. Thank you.